Hey, welcome back to D&D House, where a bunch of friends get together, roll dice, and slay monsters. It's Monday night, which means... tonight we're playing some My Hero Academia Dungeons & Dragons, but not quite. Ian, any announcements?
Yeah, we got some new emotes. The first 3 new Albion emotes have dropped. They are free currently to all followers, so feel free to swarm the chat with them. I think that's it.
Awesome. For this week and next week, we still will not have Adriana and Wyatt present, so we are going to keep playing with this crew and testing out my personal non-Pathfinder, non-Dungeons & Dragons, completely original My Hero Academia plus Ultra RPG system. This is not what we use during the normal live streams. This is a test for a future product. In the meantime, we got Ian, Ty,
Maybe.
a new addition to D&D House, Odie, longtime friend of everyone involved, my sister T, who you know from Mad King, and of course myself, our recurring Dungeon Master for My Hero Academia.
If anybody caught the horror that was last year's Halloween stream before it was promptly deleted, Odie was there.
Odie was there.
You might not recognize them though, because you wore a helmet the whole time.
That's right.
You were stuck. Odie was the astronaut in the corner. If you saw that, thanks for sticking around. You're literally an original gangster.
The OG.
But in the meantime,
The OD.
those of you who do enjoy our MHA content, please stick around for these 2 weeks. We'd love your feedback on this. I would love it specifically. I developed it. And coming back Monday the 31st, Halloween night itself, we will have our main crew back for the main story. But in the meantime, we're taking a trip to another universe, another realm.
On our favorite rocket ship?
A realm where the laws are devised by a madman. But truly, guys, tonight we are looking at this system, which some of you are basically seeing for the first time. 2 of you have done some little tests here and there, and we're going to build characters on stream. We're going to get involved in the whole process, and you guys are going to see everything. You're going to hear all of the iterations, and then possibly, if we have enough time left towards the end, we're going to run a combat test, or maybe a little role-playing. But it's going to be fun. These are fresh UA students. So, everybody, let's get these PDFs up and rolling, and we can start talking about how all this works. So,
But does it work?
both for the players and for the audience, this is a D6-based system, as you guys know. The only dice we're using are 6-sided dice. Ty.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You can use Muppet dice, or I'm sure your brother might let you
There's a
use
pile there.
his.
I have one of these.
You're allowed to touch
You
them
might-
this time.
You might infect
I gotta wash them
bad luck.
afterwards.
I've got one.
There's
So-
Muppet dice.
Soft canon congruent, perhaps?
Don't let
soft
Ty touch
cannon.
your dice.
Kind of harkening back to old school D&D when there were literally still only 6-sided dice before, I believe, Greyhawk. Yeah, you know, this is the kind of feel for it, and three 6-sided dice, or even 2 6-sided dice, have nice little statistical curves that a D20 would not. And yeah, we're going to get into it. So there are 5 ability scores that dictate your character's statistics. This is a very math crunchy game. There are some elements that are very simplified, like the dice system itself, but there are some elements that are, holy shit, I have to jump through a couple hoops to improve my abilities, but when I improve them, they get really good. So it also is an extremely customizable system. You do not level up on a linear track. There are no classes where you say, I become this level, I get this thing. You gain XP at your own rate, independent from the main party, and you spend your XP at any time on whatever you want for your character. So we could be a wild array of different levels with a wild array of different abilities. And we're going to get right into that.
Question.
Yes.
Oh, you go ahead.
Can level up increase my height?
Does your quirk?
You know,
Are you a gigant?
If your character's body ability score increases, I would allow you to be like, oh yeah, he grew a couple inches. That's fair.
If you follow My Hero canon, you start like 15.
Yeah.
So
You're teenagers.
yeah, the idea you
could
grow a couple
be
inches.
hitting that growth spurt. I mean, you're
I'm putting
Asian,
on.
but like, who even
I-
knows? It's a different human species at this point.
I am 8'2". Oh
Stop.
no, my quirk is I make plants grow faster. I'm just lanky as shit.
Oh yeah, one of my parents had a giant quirk. You know, like, okay, whatever. Sure. You can really justify most things in this setting, which I love. What the fuck are you people doing already?
What?
Get themselves in trouble.
Okay, so
I had a
to-
question.
Yes.
Is it like combat crunchy or like behind the scenes crunchy?
It is behind the scenes crunchy on an individual level.
Okay, cool.
The combat is actually not crunchy at all.
That's
in
what I was
theory.
wondering, yeah.
It is crunchy for you to keep your own statistics in order,
Yeah.
and crunchy for you to decide how am I going to level up.
Okay. Because I mean, you were saying it's a crunchy
think
system,
it's-
but Pathfinder's a crunchy
I
system.
think that's the
and
right kind of.
Yeah.
Pathfinder, it's actually pretty balanced between combat crunch and level up crunch. This is mostly level up crunch.
That's better than combat crunch.
Again, it's supposed to be super customizable. So we're gonna get right into it. If you look at the PDF, in the basics section, you have your 5 ability scores, which are based on President Mike's famous words during the sports festival.
The 4 basic food groups: beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard.
Yes. Heart, skill, body, wisdom, and knowledge. All the things necessary to make a good hero. All of those are just at least a little bit defined there, but also you can kind of draw your own conclusions from them as well. Not everything in this PDF is 100% player friendly yet. Obviously, this is a test. And as it says in character creation, I'm not expecting you to read all the flavor text. All men are not created equal. This is the basis of the meta commentary in the fiction, and this is the basis a little bit of the RPG. You can choose at character creation to build a more powerful character than average, but it will have repercussions for you later in the game, or you can choose to build an average or less than average character who will grow more quickly than someone who's maybe a little ahead of them. So there are 2 things we need to look at: your trainee status and your quirk potential. And these are in progression over here. You can choose to be, in terms of being a trainee, you can choose to be green, seasoned, or veteran. Each gives you a different amount of XP to start building your character, and either a multiplier or a penalty for the XP gain for the first 20 levels. Again, it's non-linear. So you'll reach level 20 at a different rate. The idea being, Todoroki might have had combat training and all that beat into his head his entire life, but he's a lot more rigid, a lot more disciplined, and a lot less kind of open-minded and free-thinking about growth than someone like Izuku is, who is at the bottom of the training rung. Right. So these are your choices you can make. And then, in addition to that, there is the talent section, or the potential section. So you can be unusual, which means, your quirk's a little better than average, but not crazy. That's like Minetta's and Ojiro's in the world. Rare, which is, you have a stronger quirk. And then supreme, there's like, you are like Baku or Todoroki, your quirk has really high value and is very powerful. So yeah, you guys, that's like the first thing we're going to choose as we build our characters. You want to choose what your character's training level is before they get into high school, and you want to choose the circumstances of their birth, how strong their quirk is. What you guys all described to me for your quirk ideas were pretty mid-strength, but if you want to, you can change any of it up right now.
I think we're probably green rare, right?
That's exactly what I just wrote down.
You put like no training. You were like, I'm gonna try
I
you.
thought we were
Fuck
talking
it.
about steak.
Honestly, as long as it's not move.
Yeah.
That's also the correct answer.
You're
was
like,
like,
wait,
what does
I
green rare
didn't
mean?
do trash in junior high. I can try UA.
It's a
sure,
Sure.
Just
but you didn't
flash
plan
pride.
for it.
Because it's like we've always worked together
Yeah.
with our shit, but never like
separate.
trained it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I use my projections to like do my chores for me. My mom's like, wash the dishes, and I'm like, wah, and then just like this little goblin shows up and goes and loads them into the dishwasher.
Okay.
Goes and sweeps.
Ty, your quirk is on the rare end. I mean, it could be supreme, but it's probably rare, right? That's up to you. You could say it's supreme, but he just doesn't know
Green
how to use
Lantern's
it.
light.
Sorry, you're saying
Yeah,
supreme, and I just see
basically.
like Eren Yeager.
I would say that would count as rare instead of like just unusual.
You got that
Drip
drip
Titan?
titan? Yeah, the drip titan.
I would say like, just a laser like
But
Albion got would be the unusual, the
Yeah.
lower tier. But since you can manifest individual
Yeah.
things, it's
I'm
probably
gonna be
closer to rare.
different. Say I'm seasoned.
Rare and seasoned. You've put a little training in.
Just
That's
like
fair.
the best
Green
days.
rare,
So you're
right?
putting, you have the most average
rare?
character
Yeah,
build.
okay.
Yeah.
You have the middle path
I
of
like
both
green, but
options.
if you'd rather
Those of you who are
season-
picking green, of course, you get a 0.2% or 0.2 times multiplier. That's a pretty big deal for all the XP you gain until you hit level 20, which I'd like to note is 20,000. Woo! So you're going to get a lot of quick levels compared to other characters.
Yeah.
Of course, that is, in the theoretical world where we play through that idea.
Need somewhere for the XP modifier to go down.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Stamina, morale, and heroism. Is it time for those?
We can get to those. There are a couple other things in progression I want to talk about before we start getting to statistics.
Firsties.
But yeah, keep a note of that. Of like, I have these as a modifier for my game track. Music. So quiet. It's at the end of the song. That's why. Listening to League of Legends sessions, I really appreciate that they put out that free music. It slaps.
Heroism and stamina.
If you guys look down below in the next tab in progression, there's some stuff about just like how you can spend XP. You can increase your ability scores, and we're going to start building our characters with buying our ability scores with the XP we now have. So if everyone just for me and for the audience, how much did you get from your selections?
See here, 400 being trained.
1,000 each for the twins.
1,000.
1,000 for WOG.
1,200.
1,200.
I'm different.
Built
different.
Incorrectly. Russian Badger moment.
Built wrong.
Just wrong. Okay, so
Means
before we really
demolished.
get into anything else, we're going to start spending XP to get our 5 ability scores. Each of these, we do not do any rolling for random scores.
It's
Not
all
here.
point buy.
All point buy.
Okay.
You gotta use your thinker.
And do these have direct, do you pick one of these like we do in the other My Hero system to be the direct impact for your quirk?
You may. You do not have to. Every ability associated with your quirk is independent of each other, and you can choose them all to be, I want them all to be focused on body, if that makes sense. Or they can all be separate.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So, to buy an ability score, all of them start at 1. So you have at a default 1 in each score. And to increase it, you take your current score and multiply it by 50. That's the amount of XP you'll need to spend. So to go from a 1 to a 2, you want to spend 50 XP. But to go from a 2 to 3, you want to spend 100. And so forth. I believe the math comes out to like, to get to level 10, you need like 5,500.
10 being the max.
There is no max.
Oh, okay.
All Might, in theory, has like somewhere in the 40s or 50s on his fucking strength, on his body. It's insane, But he trained like a demon for 40 years.
And then lost his lungs.
He also had the collective experience gain of 7 characters before him. So it kind of fast tracks you.
I mean,
Trust fund,
some of them
baby.
did live very long to gain some XP.
I think the longest any of them lived was like 18 years
Yeah.
with the quirk.
Yeah, that was the dude who just went and sat in the woods all by
Yeah, that was
himself.
N.
I just fucked off from society for the entire time.
That man literally does not live in this society. So yeah, you guys can now spend some of your XP on your ability scores.
Okay, what do the ability scores mean?
The ability scores, like in Pathfinder, are the just kind of basis for all the math moving forward in the game. Anytime you want to make a roll, an average roll is going to be 2d6 dice plus an ability score, generally.
Cool.
The math is not very high, especially here in the lower levels. It's pretty flat. So having even like a 2 is good. Having a 3, above average. Having a 4 is like crazy and a big investment, but you can do it. You're going to want to save some XP left over at the end to buy other abilities and other features for your characters. Probably a couple hundred. Too much more.
And each individual ability score. What is heart?
Heart. That is the, of all the ones to inquire about, I think that's the
The
best.
first one.
The top
Heart
of the list.
It's the most important one, which is why it's at the top.
Okay,
It's
cool.
your character's measure of heroism and determination. The rest are all a little more concrete. Body is like, okay, clearly physical strength and durability.
Okay.
Skill is speed and finesse and dexterity.
Okay.
Knowledge and wisdom, you can kind of extrapolate charisma in there somewhere, right? But heart is like the measure of how heroic are they? How determined are they? Kind of in an anime sense. What's their chance of getting knocked down and getting back up?
Yeah.
how and this also kind of feeds into things like if they're around other heroic characters, which you all are. You're hero students. You know, really heroic people might be more likable. They might be more passionate about things. There are all sorts of things like that. This is like the most important ability score of the 5, but it's the hardest to level up later in the game.
Because you always want to dump levels into it. And so it just costs more?
So, and that's a good question.
Or can I not buy points in this like I can the normal ones?
You can buy points in it like normal.
Okay.
This is where I'm going to start explaining how XP gets interesting in the system. Right now, we're starting to build our characters. All XP is the same. It's just experience. As we start playing the game and earning more experience, it is typed. So if you want to go training at the gym and gain experience from that, you get body experience.
Okay, all right.
Or skill experience. You want to go to the library, you get, so you'll have an individual bank of each amount.
Okay.
And you will have to spend that stuff to increase that score, or that score's abilities.
Okay.
Heart is the hardest to obtain, but it works normally like the rest do. Heart you get from things like combat, solving problems, overcoming personal struggles. It's the least common to gain, but all the abilities associated with it are the strongest. And it has possibly the highest individual impact of your 5 abilities. You could dump all of your fucking points in it right now. That's what Deku probably did. But as of right now, all your XP is the same and it's all neutral. You can spend it on anything.
Okay, and then level times 50,
Level times 50.
and then again level
And then
time,
again
new
level
level times 50.
Yeah, so right now it's going to be 50 to go from 1 to 2. Later, it will be 100 to go from 2 to 3.
100 plus that 50 you already spent right from the
Wait,
outset.
level times 50 or stat score times 50?
The new
Your
score.
ability scores.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I just want to write down 3 for heart right now, I just take out the 150.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
primo.
So,
Is it 50 or is it 40?
Let's go.
50.
50. Okay.
Let's
It's
pull up
40.
a calculator here.
So it's only going to be 150, or is it going to it shouldn't it?
Well,
Oh,
you're
because
reading
yeah,
the
you're going from
wrong-
2
you're
to 3.
reading the
Okay, never
wrong
mind.
part.
Yeah, because it'll be 50 and then it'll be 100.
It's the second paragraph in progression.
Yeah, 1 times 50, 50.
Yeah.
Then 2 times 50, 100.
Yeah.
Put them together.
I know.
150.
If you read all of this contiguously without like interruption, the way people often read the player handbooks for D&D, there'd probably be less questions, but I'm not trying to make you guys read all 35 pages of this. I'm giving you a speed read of it.
I never learned how to read.
I read pictures.
How's our sound levels?
We're doing all right. We're doing just fine
Bad.
as far as what the computer's telling me, and I'm not getting complaints in chat yet. So.
Hi, chat.
So, I mean, before we like start buying our skill, like, is this also how we get like abilities, or like how do we build abilities?
Your abilities will be enhanced by your
Yes.
stats.
Your abilities will be enhanced by your stats, and some abilities will be determined, like whether you can even have them or not, might be determined by your stats.
So you don't get to like buy abilities with XP.
You will buy abilities with XP.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Is like, so we shouldn't just dump. I mean, unless we don't.
You can just dump all of your XP in your ability scores, and you'd probably be fine.
You want to dump just about a majority, though.
A majority.
Yeah.
I'd hazard 75%.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay, that much.
Like 75%. I'd hazard that much. But you guys will then have some left over. Most of the like abilities you'll buy later on in creation cost like 40 XP, or at most like 80 XP.
I'll leave myself with 450.
That's fat. So what are all your scores then? Are you done?
Yeah, put a 3 in heart, 2 in skill, 3 in body, 3 in wisdom, and 2 in knowledge.
See, and that's a pretty average and good spread.
Because I am a very average fellow.
But that's only spending like 100.
This guy?
So we
So 4 to 5 is 200 points, correct?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
like,
So you're looking at 50 and then
Just to get
100
these up
and
a
then
little bit more,
150
like,
and then
wouldn't it be
200.
nice?
That's huge.
And you got to add all those cumulatively.
Yes.
So you're.
I think I did that correctly.
Are you just going to trauma
Well, no,
dump
'cause we
into
have-
That's an 800
We have
point
1,000,
investment on
yeah.
one ability score.
I mean, that's only 100. So
Yeah. Because it's
So I didn't do that
50,
right.
Feels like-
150,
we determined.
plus then
Try
the
again.
300 on top of that, so 450 to go to level 4.
So everything starts at 1.
Yes.
Like,
Sorry.
And then to go to 2, it's 50.
So if I go 1200,
Yes.
so
So-
if I go all to 2, that's 250.
Price is not cumulative, Ian.
Fair.
Just want to make sure. You're good
I
there.
think we should level this up.
So
to
it is
2.
just 50 to go from 1 to 2, 100 to go from 2 to 3,
Yeah.
150 to go from 3 to
And I
4.
went,
So then you're looking at, in terms of what you've already spent,
so
50,
100.
100 more, 150 more. Go from like 1 to 4, you're like 600.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Hold on.
Mhm.
No, because it's the current times 50.
Mhm.
So 1 times 50 is 50.
Mhm.
2 times 50 is 100.
So
So
you're at
you're at a total
150.
of 150.
Yes.
And that puts you at 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have to do 3 times 50 to go to
100.
4.
150.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, so
I
you're at
was doing-
300 point investment.
Yeah, you're at 300.
But, no, I think we're
So in
agreeing-
totality, you're 450 to go to 4.
Yeah.
And then to go to 5, you're at 5 times 50,
Which is
which is
250.
Or we can bring these up to 3.
No, you do take current, not next. You take current.
Yeah, it's
so
current.
If you're at 4
So 4 times
and you're
50.
going to 5, you take 4 times.
Is it gonna be this
Yeah,
one?
no, Ian, I think we're
Yeah.
on the same page. I'm just
I got my
probably
math right.
explaining. I think I'm
Knowledge
explaining.
skill.
Okay, so
I mean, there's
all 2.
I have a question.
Yes.
So we're trying to
So that's
decide
1
which
to
of
3.
our stats to like build into,
Yeah.
right? So like, what's the difference, I guess, between knowledge and
minus
So
150.
skill is
So
a
3 to 4.
more of
It's
a
not 150
physical
though, is it?
trait,
3 to
right?
4?
Because skill is the matter of
3.
it doesn't matter how
I guess it is
knowledgeable you
150.
are about
Okay,
picking
yeah.
locks
And then
if your
4 to
fingers do
5.
not have the muscle
Got
memory
it,
to
got
do
it, got it, got it. Okay.
Skill is a combination of your
Yeah.
physical speed, but also your physical dexterity and finesse.
Yes.
Okay.
Knowledge is more of how much do I know about what subjects, and that can include things that pertain to skill.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Nice.
So, because I'm thinking like, is it
'Cause
that
I'm
we need to have a
dim-
high
dim.
knowledge and
I'd
Hell yeah.
understanding
like
of
everyone
how?
to at least consider these characters will be taking tests in a high school, so not dumping your mentals is
No.
a good idea.
I got 2 in each.
C's get degrees, baby.
These get degrees, baby. This guy knows.
And in
This
Japan,
character-
C's are even lower.
This
Like,
character range out.
Yeah,
the scale is
I think
different.
we think
Wang
we have to
Zhao,
go
baby.
And then bump the one that we were missing the first one.
that was barely a sentence. It's like it's like in a Hot Fuss listening to the Welsh guy.
So yeah, that's what I'm trying to decide. Is it
Found it.
Is it based
Oh, there's
on
a lot of
knowledge or
junk
is it
in
based on
it.
skill? Because if it's based on knowledge, then it's like,
Wang
oh, we
Zhao,
understand
baby.
like magnets
Wang
and like
Zhao.
magnetism very
That
well.
makes sense.
And then, but the skill is like applying our understanding of magnetism and everything else.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to decide. If we
Yeah.
want to build skill more or knowledge, like if we want it based on skill or knowledge for our understanding of magnetics and magnetism and how to apply it.
I think either could make sense.
Yeah.
Skill would have a more physical bent, and knowledge would have a more mental bent. So, it's kind of up to you if you channel your quirk by physical means, or if you just think real hard and, like,
then
Professor
double
X, something
two
happens.
on 3. Both skill and knowledge because
We could also, one of us could have
So you
higher
have your
skill and one of us
ability
could
I'm
have higher
set.
knowledge.
I'm set for the next
Um,
next segment.
Ty, you have your ability scores
Yep.
mostly.
What would you
Do you guys have your ability scores? You're close.
We're
Close.
getting there.
You guys are welcome to keep going then, keep reading on it through progression.
I think I'd rather go with skill.
You are
You could take knowledge.
currently
Okay, cool.
Talents.
1, 3, 1.
you're currently level 2, by the way. Everyone else is or no, you're all level 2. You're all level 2 characters.
So
That's fun.
we can have different bases for each of our.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, you're twins, but you could have different quirks.
No, our quirk. I mean, I'm saying our base.
Your ability
stat,
scores?
Yeah.
I think it's a good
Like-
idea if we all take a moment and explain our character and the quirk that we are building for this.
I think so. Yeah, I was about to get right into that after ability scores, but let's do it now. Fuck it.
I'll go on ahead and start. I am building Wog, the Rolling Tide. My quirk.
Tide.
Roll Tide, baby.
Holy tide.
My quirk is that through projection of my voice, I summon spirits that do my bidding. Currently, little goblins, eventually, giant spider riders, catapults, who knows.
Warhammer orcs.
Very, very Warhammer orky.
And is he like
Warhammer
physically-
Fantasy.
He's physically orcish, right?
Yes, I am. I got the green skin, I got the 2 big tusks,
Mm.
broad guy.
Yep.
We can do it.
Fun. Is he tall?
Yeah, I'll be tall.
What's his body? 3?
Yeah, 3 in body.
Roll tide roll.
Rolling tide. That's a dope
The Rolling
name.
Tide.
Yeah.
I just came up with
Just
that
want
right
to clarify,
now.
they're not spirits. This is a magical
Yeah,
ability.
100%.
He's projecting his psyche, and physical things come into existence, kind of like ectoplasm. They're all
Yeah.
very weak, but he shouts to summon them.
Yeah.
So good.
So you should train with Mike.
Should train with Mike and Ectoplasm, yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh man, I love that character. It's so good. Ty doesn't. You don't have a name yet, right?
No, I found one.
Okay. Here we go. I'm terrified.
It's a perfectly normal name. My name is Halbaz.
I don't trust this. There's something wrong with this, and I can't.
Hall Boz?
Yeah. First name
Hal
Hal, last name Baz,
Just spell that.
and Halbaz.
Fair.
Yeah, I googled Green Lantern names and I
How?
took 2 of them and I put them together.
It's Muppet.
No, he can be Hall. He can be Hall. Let him be Hall.
He's Hall.
I don't.
Jordan. You could have been anyone.
He's like Norwegian or
You
something.
could have been Guy. You could have been Kyle. You could have been John. No. Hall.
See?
Hall.
You Google
Yep, nope.
Green Lantern.
Yep.
Hal.
Hal.
Baz. And that is now my name.
All right. What is your quirk?
So I can manifest like blade beams based on the object that I am holding. So if I'm holding an arm, I'm gonna throw blade beam arms at you, because that's not terrifying.
If you hold a bowling ball, you can strike enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, he holds objects and he focuses that idea into a photokinetic projection.
That's dope as hell.
That's
You're discount Green Lantern.
Yes, that is why I am all buzz.
Holy fuck. I might be in measurable pain. I'll get back to you. What about you guys?
This is Jiki Oshi.
This
Jiki
is Jiki. I can't say your first name. Jiki Hiku.
Okay, Jiki Oshi and Jiki Hiku.
Yeah.
These are
Twins.
twins. What are their quirks?
Magnetism.
Let's go.
This is everything I fear, and also I love it. My God. Okay, so have the twins settled on their ability scores, kind of ish?
Kind of ish.
I think we need to go
If we ever
higher.
need to, we can go back and change things.
I'm-
It's character
I'm going
creation.
higher.
Yeah, we need to go higher.
I'm
that's
going
all.
higher.
You guys are welcome to start roaming on the PDF if you'd like. We've done the mandatory thing, but if you want to read a little bit more in the progression tab, there is some stuff there that might answer some of your questions later, like how XP costs are.
You
written
get your
out
new talents
later.
here.
Mhm. If there's a comma, it's a big difference between that and like a backslash. But anyway, that's just that stuff I can explain later. Rolls are 2d6, average is 7. There are situations where you're allowed to take average. But the whole system is built on advantage stacking.
All right.
So if you have a situational advantage, you get an extra die. If you have a disadvantage, you remove a die. Advantage stacks with itself and with disadvantage. So if you have one advantage and one disadvantage, you have nothing.
How do y'all spell your names?
Oh boy.
Jiki is Jiki, and Oshi
Oshi is OSHI.
and Hiku is Hiku.
And Hal is
There you go.
HAL.
I can type our names.
You didn't tell them your full name.
Wagshio.
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 You didn't tell them your full first name, or you know what it is?
I'll let it lie. I'll see what goes
Okay.
on.
Yeah.
People want to call me the Wog. People can call me the Wog.
He's the Wog.
He's the Wog.
The Wog, baby.
The Wog, baby. This orc walks into class today. I'm the Wog, baby.
You can hang with me. You won't cramp the Wog style.
Okay.
It's not how he's going to be at all.
Rolls, I don't have to go too far into that. Okay, statistics. We have hit points. That's pretty normal. The amount of hit points you start with is based both on your ability scores, but also you're going to spend XP to gain more hit points. It's not tied to your character level. You could be a first level character in theory with like 100 hit points if you really min-maxed it. So you all start with 6. You all start just with a flat 6 HP, and you can gain more. So
Where is that?
that is in statistics. It's the first thing in health. It's in the
Oh.
third paragraph.
Okay, down to statistics.
So you start with 6 plus your body as your base HP.
6 plus body.
6 plus half the negative value of the user's HP.
Oh yeah,
That's for dying?
I think it's about dying.
Oh. Okay.
The XP, the like health gaining section itself might be a little complicated to read. I've tried to rewrite this section so many times, and half of my people understand it, half of my people don't understand it.
Me.
So You're special.
I know.
Built different.
So I'm going to try to explain this to you guys.
So I got 6 plus body.
Yeah, 6 plus body. You have 1 hit die right now, and that is based on your body ability score. You can gain more hit dice based on your body score, and those all cost 20 flat XP each. But you can only have the number of those equal to your body score. So what is everyone's body? You're 3. You're
3.
3.
3.
Everyone is 3. So we could all have 3d6 plus 9 hit points if we want to spend like 40,
60 XP.
like 40 more XP because you start with 1.
Oh yeah, 40 more.
40 more XP.
I'm going to do that because I want to be a stocky boy.
And the kind of the idea behind this
Yeah,
is
same.
that it is easier for you to train your body up to like physical durability than any other means of gaining hit points. But once you've kind of reached your body's limit, there is another way to keep training, and that is training your mind. There's a second type of hit dice you can train based on heart instead. So, but they're more expensive and they get expensive over time.
So you need to track them separately.
You do need to track them separately.
So there's
for
like
your own
there's
sake.
body HP and there's heart HP.
You don't need to track
So
the hit point
we roll
pool
2d6
separately, but you'll
for
want to track
you
the
bought
hit
both hit
dice
die.
separately.
Then yes.
Which means for me that I would want to track them all separately.
Very good, T. You are welcome to do it however you want.
Plus 9.
Fuck you.
Hey, let's go. It's because I'm built different.
So do we do start with our own heart HP?
You start with one body. It's 6 plus body.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone has 9 hit points at base, which will not get you very far. It's not a super.
I bought both mine.
It's not a super high
Same.
damage system, but like any My Hero game, quirks exist, and really that just is where
Well,
it
I
is.
mean,
It beats you down.
Most rolls are a 2d6, right? So.
That's attack rolls. Damage rolls vary more wildly between 1 and 3d6.
Uh-huh.
Plus a bonus, you know,
Yeah.
usually like body or something like that. It's like if you punch someone, roll 2d6, add your body to that. Holy shit, that's a critical.
Yeah.
And then you roll 1d6 because the punch is a light weapon. Add your body, also a critical, so I'm gonna ignore that for now. Yeah,
But we haven't
get
talked about defense.
We'll break that down. We haven't even talked about defense yet. I'm just more worried about your guys' hit points. You can go back and change ability scores if you need to. You can train as much hit points as you want, and if you want to read that section, if it doesn't make sense to you, please, I will explain it. I'm not super worried about the dying rules right now because that's not on the table currently. I'll explain how that works.
I'm invincible. Let's get him.
Yo, let's go.
We are going to live forever! Said we're not full of
So
tumors.
if I spend 40 XP, I use another hit dice, right? Or is it 20?
It's 20 per, so if you want to spend 40, you'll get 2 more, and you'll reach your limit for your body training.
My quirk could have been I teleport bread.
Stop it. Stop it. Can't teleport bread anymore! You know, okay.
We're fine, as long as we don't teleport any more bread. Problem.
Oh, Moz, you gave me cancer.
So, does that at least make sense? You each are limited in terms of your natural hit dice to 3, because that's your body ability score. Cool. You can still gain hit points after that point. It's based on your heart instead, because it's more like, my body's reached its limit, now it's about determination and willpower to stay up, you know? Those cost, I believe, 20 as the first one, but that's mixed XP. You don't have to worry about mixed XP right now because you're still neutral across the board. But it'll go 20, and then 25, and then 30. Each die that you buy will become more expensive than the last. He asked a great question. You don't have to track the hit point pool separately, but you will want to track the dice separately of like, I have 3 body and let's say 6 heart. Fuck it. That way, if you increase your body in the future, you'd be like, oh, cool, I can do
Easy
one more of
peasy.
those, and it'll be a flat 20. It's super cheap. Getting stronger muscles is going to be a lot easier for your characters than training your heart and mind to be tougher. You
What's
know?
that for?
And I
Those
think
are
that
the
makes
heart
sense.
hit dice that he was just talking about.
You trained 2 of those?
Yeah, I
So
took 2 of them and I got max,
45.
baby.
Nice.
Jesus.
Wow. Well, I mean, Wog's a big guy, and you add heart to those instead of body.
I got 50.
I don't know if I want
Do I add body to every hit die I add?
Only to your body hit
I
dice.
had to roll 2 others.
But I add those to the 2 body hit dice I got. I add the 3 each time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got
So
an
you should
extra
have
6 on
3d6
here.
Yeah.
plus 9, and then you should have 2d6 plus
Okay, hold on.
whatever your heart is.
And now 12 and another 6.
to. Do I spend any on
Oh,
better?
you're the better
24
player.
hit points. 217 is 51 hit points.
is a part of the system, I'd be open to simplifying, but I think it makes sense. And I
It
think
makes
serves,
sense
I think
once
it
it's
serves a narrative purpose.
Yeah.
So the first
don't know if I
part
wanna
is
take
20,
it.
and then the second
51
part
HP,
is...
baby.
Oh, maybe I want to take
25.
some
They
heart.
increase by 5
Just I rolled max.
sequentially forever.
And
I'm only
then
at 24.
how can you choose
That's
how
okay. There's
like
nothing wrong
what's
with
spent
24.
first?
You're a Dex character.
No. See, that's the problem with keeping the pool separate.
Yeah.
They are all just
I could also
hit
be a
points.
medical
It's the
task
dice
force,
that are
but I
different.
audition
You
to
could.
be like a.
And the dice are only different for level up purposes.
Okay.
So all
Orcs
your
don't
points
sit in
are
the
a
background and
homogeneous,
watch.
I'm not dying.
Okay. Let me do this again.
I gotta be
If you want
upfront
to
with my
personally track them separately, I guess you'd want to lose heart first. But you could argue either way.
But I mean, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Cool.
Alright, 2 other ones, let's go.
Maybe that'll
back.
change. I could see a reason why a mechanic would influence that kind of thing. Kind of like Chris's vigor
No,
versus hit
thanks.
points.
I'm good.
But I haven't
Yeah.
gotten there yet. I, might
think,
change it. in the
that's
future.
what I'm wondering because
That would
I'm
make
gonna mark it
sense.
as like body
Yeah.
points
Oh,
versus
this
heart.
recover
Oh, actually, let's go
HP
with
from
color
heart
scheme.
if you're frightened or whatever. That's kind of cool.
And this one.
Someone added something to say in chat?
Yeah, just that once we learn these things
I
and
use
get these things
card.
on paper, we're going to do a full rundown
Absolutely.
of the characters at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
We will. Moving on. You guys got hit points
Number
already?
crunchy, but actual play,
Should be
combat should be simple.
Simpler.
Downtime should be pretty moderate, or at least close to what we currently do for a downtime. Okay. And if you rolled really poorly on your rolls, you can spend XP to just boost that number up. Your maximum is still based on your current dice, which is just 6 plus bonus per die. But I'm assuming that you're going to worry about that right now. Okay. Defense is our armor class in this system. It's 7 plus your skill plus the armor you're wearing, and then whatever missing bonuses you might have. You guys don't have items yet, so don't worry about armor. But at the very least, all of us have skill of 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
5.
4.
5? That's what you maxed?
Yeah.
So your skill, so your defense is 12 at base.
So it's
You
7
could bump your knowledge up.
plus
I could.
skill.
That
I can also
means
bump my
he's
skill
very
up.
difficult to attack at base. If you don't have any advantage over him, he's just
Yeah.
going to be faster than you are strong. And that, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
You have to roll a 9 on 2 dice.
Right.
That's less than ideal. I'm very good. But I bet your other skills are shit, huh?
You know.
Here, I mean, the other ability scores.
Hey, he had 200 more experience points than
Yeah, I
everyone.
did.
That's
so-
true.
He's coming into this with sizably less.
Okay. Saving throws. You have 1 saving throw per ability score, kind of like 5th edition does. So that's just 2d6 plus that ability score
Easy.
itself. Simple. Resistance is an idea that's not going to come up super often right now, but it's just the idea of like, I'm resistant, I take half damage from this type of damage. Or if I'm vulnerable, I take 1.5 times damage, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Todoroki would be resistant to both hot and cold damage, but he'll still take hits from it. Things like that. Ian, you brought up something earlier in character creation, and it's finally coming up. There are 3 types of combat resources your characters all have in combat: stamina, morale, and heroism. You are not guaranteed to even use these. This is technically an unnecessary system in the game that's very helpful for you. The abilities we might want to invest our XP in later in creation are for these systems. But basically each is a pool, kind of like key or whatever else from Pathfinder, that you can spend to perform various actions. You have no actions, you have very few actions to start your character with. Right now, but you can earn abilities later that give you more action you can perform. So right now you can spend 1 stamina to recover 1 hit point. It's that severe. 1 morale to increase any roll by 1. And you can spend 1 heroism as a bonus action to recover 1d6 stamina and morale. So heroism is your less frequent resource. You need to conserve it more, and one of its main purposes is to replenish your other resources. The resources themselves don't all do a lot in terms of the game, but they give you more variety, more dynamic options, and they give you things to do outside of attack or use quirk, or they give you ways to improve how you attack or use quirk. So, And we will read how that shit can be spent later. But in the paragraph itself, your pools for each of these is equal to for stamina, heart plus skill plus body. And those of you who took green, I believe you got a bonus to that, or maybe it was
We got a
was-
heroism.
it was for
Yeah.
rare. You get a heroism
Rare
bonus.
gets a heroism.
Stamina.
Yeah, if you've taken
One
unusual, which is the lowest talent,
Then you get 3 stamina.
yeah,
Morale is your 2 mentals put together,
plus heart, yeah.
and heart.
Morale is heart plus wisdom
Is
plus
that
knowledge.
the cap or is that what we get?
That's your current pool. It will increase over time.
Heart plus morale is heart plus wisdom.
And then heroism is just based on your heart.
Just heart plus
the
any
one
base that you get.
from the rare.
Yeah, plus any base you might have, yeah.
Or hero.
What was stamina?
Stamina is heart,
Heart, the other
skill,
two.
body.
Heart, skill, body.
Physicals and mentals, buddy. Come on.
No. I'm dumb.
Here's another concept coming up that it technically exists in Pathfinder, but people just never name it. And it's more prominent in like 5th edition. Ability checks. You know, it's just like what would to us be a D20 plus strength or whatever. 2d6 plus ability score plus miscellaneous. And the kind of skills system in this in these rules is just a modification of this system. Like, oh, make an ability check, and you can say, can I add perception to that?
Yeah.
Sure. And that's kind of what we're going to get into next. Expertise. These are not super necessary, but they help a lot. These are our skills, effectively. So there are, I believe, 7 categories of expertise, and then an 8th special category. They're all based off of your ability scores themselves. Each has multiple subtypes. And the way this works is, if you want to read the paragraph, you're just going to spend XP to train the general category first. And then once you've trained that, you say, I train acrobatics. Then I can spend more XP to hyper specialize in jump or evasion. And so on and so forth.
Okay.
You can't,
And then after that, it becomes +1 bonuses.
yeah, or you can keep training advantage on your jump or evasion. You only get 1 bonus on acrobatics as a whole, but you can get lots of bonuses on jump and evasion specifically. And there's some play there with the number, where you can't always use jump in a situation. So the paragraph itself outlines it's just 60 XP. You get advantage on. Again, I'm gonna keep using acrobatics as my example. And then after you've done that, you can spend 60 more XP, gain advantage to jump. So if you're rolling a jump check, you roll 2 advantage. Or you can spend less than 60 XP and get just a flat +1 bonus. And then if you get one of those, the cost increases, but you can keep those over time.
Okay, so you can never have more than one an additional die for the roll, but you can have a lot of bonuses.
So you can have 2 dice.
Yeah.
Base rolls 2 dice.
Advantage die.
Yeah. We're using advantage dice. The red ones, these are advantage if we train acrobatics. And then we train jump. And let's say we're really ambitious, we put a shit ton of points in jump. We might have like +2,
4d6 plus 10.
+4.
Okay, but what I'm asking first, before you get into it, just so I can understand, you can add a die for your base advantage on acrobatics. You can't get more than 1.
Cannot get more than 1.
That's what I'm asking. And then you can get more if you train into it. You can get how it's more dice, or it's just a
So,
bonus on top.
For jump, you have 2 options. For the secondary ones, not the primary ones, you can get extra dice equal to half your ability score. So jump is skill based. I can only have 1 advantage in acrobatics.
Yes.
If let's say I have 4 skill, I could have 2 more advantage in jump.
Okay.
So for that very specific scenario, I have a lot of dice. But otherwise, it's just
And to get up to that, you'd
3
basically have
or
to
none.
spend, what is that, like 180 XP?
yeah.
60, 60.
Yeah, 60, 60, 60. Or if you don't like the randomness of dice, you can spend points on just a flat bonus that has no cap.
Okay, that's what I was trying to understand. Got it.
Yeah, the flat bonus has no cap. So the idea is like, oh, teachers and other characters who are high level, been doing this all their lives, have stupid high flat bonuses and probably maxed out dice.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's no reason not to.
Yeah. And the bonus is just good. You know. Besides, more dice means you can. Interesting.
Actually, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask because like when you were rolling, obviously like criticals are different. Like what if you roll? Like, will having more dice increase your chance of failure?
This is something I wanted your guys' take on. There is not currently a system in place in the entire game for general critical failures and critical successes. There is currently a system in place for ideal critical damage on weapon attacks, but that's exclusively to attack rolls. There's no crits on saves, ability checks, expertise. And so I kind of wanted your guys' opinion on it. The idea I've been tooling with personally has been just to make it if you roll all sixes, which means the more advantage you have on something, the more extraordinary something like that occurs. But it means that the less advantage you have on something, the more kind of desperate a situation is. Miraculous events like that might be more common. Does that kind of make sense? It could also be like majority sixes. I thought that might work. If you have more than half sixes or whatever. And then obviously the reverse would be true for ones on the dice. The difference, and this is kind of the reason I don't have this rule nailed down yet, is it's very complicated and the math just does not work the same as it would with a 20-sided die. I don't think they're necessarily I don't think they're a super necessary idea to have. But I think
so.
As D&D legacy players, I think it's fun to have. So I'll toy around with it in the future, but it's not.
It'll take some testing.
It's not a priority for me.
Yeah.
And it will take some testing. The way I did it in like Heavy Metal War, for example, in the past was like if more than half of your dice were sixes. So you couldn't get it on 2d6 unless you rolled double sixes. But if you had multiple dice, you could get, two of the three, so on and so forth.
Well, and I mean, that's good to figure out because then it's like, do you want to max out like the advantage dice that you roll, or do you want to just dump into flat bonus because that's guaranteed and
those both have
it's not going to give you
either way.
potential failure?
Interesting. But all right.
All right. How are we all feeling so far? Do we feel like we're keeping up?
Oh yeah.
Very good. Okay. I'm going to keep going. You guys can spend as much as you want on expertise. Things like these will factor into like, I want to add expertise to a test roll. It's time to do a literacy, or it's an English exam. Can I roll literacy for my education expertise? Sure.
Can I roll acrobatics?
Fuck you.
Can I roll acrobatics? Can I roll heave?
Get the fuck out of here.
Can I roll persuasion?
Things like expertise checks or just flat ability checks will also determine like, I want to go training at the gym. How well do I do? How much XP do I get? How am I going to do my gym test rolls? And of course, we can look at those now. We can look at those in the future. You guys just,
Those in the future. Let's continue just our base building here.
Cool.
I want to get to quirk powers.
That is true. The last major expertise, and this is some complicated. It's not that complicated. There is one based on heart. It's called passion. It is not a category with subtypes. You basically just choose your own subtypes. There is no primary passion. The way that there is like acrobatics and then jump, evasion. You just be like, Mina Ashido, her passions are dancing and she could even put like gossip if she wanted to, and that would have some social context, right? And she could get advantages and bonuses.
And so like performances, if you were a musician style thing, would all wind up here.
But there's no general, I am passionate, so I have an advantage in all hobbies. That's out. This would be things like lores, performances, crafts. Your character's an artist, so on and so forth. Collect ceramic unicorn.
Tiny ceramic.
We can
My toads!
Tiny.
We can actually skip attitude for now. This entire section is this is alignment, and it's not important right now, but there is a statistical track for alignment. That it's kind of up to you and the DM to navigate it, but it will determine how things work in game. There are different powers that will be available to your character based on your alignment. Different Characters might treat you different ways based on your alignment. Very Fable, very MMORPG-esque.
Very nice.
Traits. Traits are the, I think, last big thing in statistics, and then we can jump to quirks or talents. That's up to you guys.
Cool.
Traits are fun. They are completely optional. You can look at the bonuses and you can look at the penalties. You can take anything you want, but if you take a bonus, you have to take a penalty, and vice versa. You can get boons to your character. Some of them might stack with themselves, and you'll have to tell me what their weakness is as a result. So you have things here like Scholar, roll advantage on a secondary expertise in wisdom or knowledge. Yeah.
Can I take boon large, penalty small?
You can. You can take that as many times as you want, Ty. You're an idiot. You'll write it all down. It won't matter to me. Absolutely. I'd like to take the weakness small twice. No, you can't. It does not increase you one step. It just increases you 2 small. Small is the smallest you're allowed to be right now, unless your quirk says otherwise. So yes, that's why Mineta is the way he is. He has that penalty. He probably also has the cowardly or feckless penalties. But he does have some benefits. He's swift. He is
Pervert.
a pervert. He probably has scholar.
He's got some serious XP dumped into passion women.
Oh God!
He probably has the scholar trait because he's surprisingly good at school. He probably has the bolstered trait
Sure.
for like his skill saving throws. But he took some penalties for it. And you can do all these things. Talent slots. That's something you mentioned at the bottom of each of these lists, and if you want to know more about that, we can get it.
Dude, I could get more fucking skill.
Yeah, so you can just go hard on one thing if you want. The system won't like it. You'll suffer a little bit, but
And talents are non-quirk based
non-quirk based combat, they're like feats.
boons. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
feats.
And they determine new ways you can spend stamina, morale, and heroism. That's literally all they do right now.
Can I take swift slow?
Yes.
Nice.
Stop.
You want swift and slow? Yes, sure.
Can I just take all of them and have them cancel out?
Yeah.
If you take literally every single one, yes, it will cancel out exactly. I believe. Yeah, they're all 1-for-1 with each other.
Unless.
Todoroki probably would have something like the indecisive trait at the beginning of the game, but he'd have something else somewhere else. So. And these you guys can do these later. You can do these now, but I think they're fun and they give you statistical. They both motivate you to make statistical choices based on character choices, or even to change your character a little bit for a statistical value. Because Wog could be a large creature, which does not mean the same thing as it does in Pathfinder. There's a size chart at the very bottom. I think large.
I was thinking about being large.
Large is between 2 and 3 meters in height, which is like 6 to 9 feet.
Yeah, that sounds about
All
right.
Knight's a
I guess I'll
large
have to put that
creature.
down and take a boon. Take a.
If you take that, you get a
Volley.
+1 bonus to body and a -1 penalty to skill.
Okay.
So your ability score shift a little bit with size.
Fuck it. It feels right. And
But yeah, at this point, you guys can roam the document a little bit. If you want to look at talents, we will go through that together as a group.
Yeah.
If you want to go straight to quirks, we'll go to that. And I think, that might make a little more sense. We got about 20-ish minutes for the break. Okay. Quirks.
Yeah.
There are 3 types of quirks primarily. There are emitters, transformation, and mutants. We all know this. All these people have played through My Hero games with me in the past, by the way. I didn't mention that earlier. T, Odie, and Ian were all involved in the first game I ever ran. It's T's fault it happened. I never actually planned for this.
You're welcome.
It's her fault. And Odie's brother was also involved. And then we were like, we're going to do this on stream with a new group. And they haven't played their game. We discontinued that. But they're just the right people to have on for this test. So if you ever hear talk about
Ben Panda.
Panda.
You do if you watch Mad King on
What?
Wednesday
Yeah,
nights.
they're all over in Mad
in
King.
Panda, do I dare say it?
Yeah.
Hatake Shiro,
let's go.
And
the teleporter.
Takenori Mori.
Takenori Mori was Odie's brother's character. There is a fourth that we do not talk about because T is in that party. But we love her. We love her.
We love her.
Anywho, so yeah, there are emitter quirks, transformation quirks, mutation quirks. You guys all kind of know what your quirks are already.
We're emitter.
Emitter would be things that, yeah, affect the outside environment generally. So I think you guys are possibly all emitters.
Great. Thanks for the gifted sub.
Aw, thank you.
And we are, as of right now, getting rated.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Hey, yo.
Oh.
Who's this? D&D WME.
WME.
Drop what you guys do in the chat. Thanks for coming.
Hey, thank you guys.
We are
Hey.
balls deep in this new character creation.
Testing out my personal system for our silly little anime game. Wow.
And Big Stones, thanks for following.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
From the raid, I'm assuming.
All right. We're currently balls deep. I think you're literally all emitters. None of you transform or mutate in any way.
No,
No.
I think
So-
that is all admission based.
Wow, what a party.
Should have spread it around a little more, but oh well.
Nah.
Well, but there are subtypes that aren't listed in this document. When I update it, I'm gonna have the subtypes
Yeah, of
listed.
course.
Those would be like, I believe, summoner.
Hey.
Yeah, which you would be a summoner. There's accumulator. There's a couple. Oh, and meta. Yeah, accumulation, summoner, and meta. Meta would be things like Aizawa's quirk, obviously. Things that only work on other quirks.
My backup characters.
Okay.
Accumulation would be things that like you require a power source to stockpile to do one of the main quirk types, like Momo, Fat Gum, All for One technically, and One for All definitely. And of course, summoners like Tokoyami, Rudy from the fucking terrible third movie, Kite. Kite is an emitter. I mean, an emitter.
A summoner. Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into that. It's the quirk designing process is still very DM to player negotiated. There is kind of a system with how this works, but I'm going to run through a bit of it with each of you one at a time. And while I do that, the rest of you are welcome to scroll through the rest of the document, look at how academics, socializing, and training work, look at how talents work. Just read some of the errata. I might be easiest to do you guys because you both have the same general quirk.
Yeah, it's the same.
Is it exactly the same?
Well,
Slightly.
yeah. So it's like I'm Hiku. So
I'm Oshi.
yeah. So
That meant something.
Queen, twins. Jesus Christ, I said queens. It's fucking bad.
I'm gonna forget who each other are.
Twins.
No, I'm wait.
yes.
Yes.
What does everyone look like? You're an orc.
Yeah, I'm an
Do you
orc.
have, like black hair? Are you bald? Are you
Absolutely bald.
bald?
100% bald.
Does not grow hair on his scalp.
No.
Man,
I'm getting just like the absolute beginning of like pencil mustache and like patchy BS. 'Cause I'm 15. You know?
you've like mutton chops. Probably.
Yeah, but I got the huge orc tusk, green skin,
So great.
big brow.
Kind of like the mid-length ears, not the super long ears.
Yeah, not that
Big
crazy.
brow, huge muscular guy.
Yeah,
+4 body.
plus 4 body. And I am not very reactive. I just kind of waltz up and do my
Not
thing.
dexterous, there's not a lot of technique there.
No,
Yeah.
You just,
I scream and my minions do my bidding.
all you need is lungs and heart, man.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, so you guys, looking at how these work here. So, kind of for everybody, quirks are now, at this point, kind of similar to what we have already, a series of abilities, each with their own independent levels. How they level up is not written out here because it's not 100% decided on yet, but it's kind of hopefully going to be the similar system of you earn points specifically for leveling up your quirk. You spend those per ability.
Quirk training versus physical training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a sample for each quirk type here. So if we all look at the emitter, which is most useful to us, it says flame breath, type emitter, active. Okay, it's active. It means you have to use an action of some type to use it. Roll, this guy, for example, makes a body attack roll, 2d6 plus his body, and there's a skill saving throw might have the damage. Cool. Effect, user may project 2 space long, 2 space wide cone of flames, dealing 1d6 plus body damage as 5. Right, okay, that's pretty simple.
Okay.
A weakness. User builds 1 point of burn every time they use the attack. After burn equals their body, they take damage equal to 1/2 their burn every time they. It's, very similar to Todoroki's. I just wanted generic quirks as examples here. So he'll use it, and it's good for a while, but then it starts getting hot, and it starts burning him, and then he can't fucking spit fire anymore because his throat's on fire.
Sid. Weak.
The mic,
I feel you, brother.
Yeah, so with this kind of general grouping of ideas, this is just one ability for a quirk. You guys have rare quirks. You guys have rare, and you have a
Rare.
rare. We all rare.
Yeah.
So each of you I'm gonna let you start with 2 abilities for your quirk, each of which is gonna have one of these little diagrams of name, type, role, effect, weakness. There might not be a role necessary. I think you all have active types, so they're always
Yeah.
pretty sure. Yours will probably be like or
Cool.
whatever. Who knows? It's
Heart
up
and
to
body,
you.
baby.
It's up to you.
I gotta be physically tough to scream this much.
So if you guys want to look through the PDF, you two, magnetism. Do we decide, are we dexterous or are we knowledgeable?
I am dexterous,
So you have to,
and this one is knowledgeable.
I'm knowledgeable.
you're somatic. You do physical motions to create magnet effects,
Yes.
and you use your brain.
Yeah, I use my brain.
Professor X that shit. Awesome.
Constant just.
the classic brain magnets and body magnets.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if we have 2 abilities for the quirk, it seems to me like it would make sense if because what we were talking about was like we both have the ability to like affect our own like magnetic field basically, so that we can either push or pull in that way, or like reverse the polarities basically.
So you can put a magnetic charge on yourself
Yes.
that is either positive or negative.
Yes.
That's all?
Yes. But then we each mine is more positive.
Yours.
Yeah, yours is more pull.
I'd assume
mine
they'd
is
have the same neutral effect, but
Yes.
yours is a slightly higher positive.
Yes,
Yours
and
is
this one has
Mine is
slightly.
negative.
Well, it's more like it would probably be like 70-30 for each of
Yeah.
us.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. I like that. See,
Yeah.
that's cute. But you can both do both. if
Yeah.
you need.
Yes, we can both do both if we need, but we're each better at the other.
Yeah.
I just kept scrolling. I kept scrolling.
Okay.
I thought I reached the bottom.
And just as like a sample of abilities, right? The idea being with like multiple abilities is like every ability just does different things. So you're not gonna be like, oh, ability 1, if I create acid from my body, I do damage and I have range. That makes sense. But also, I can create acid cover on my skin, or I can increase my move speed.
Yeah.
Those are all separate abilities, So you guys have a pretty simple thing of magnetism that's clearly one ability, and I think it makes sense for you to have the positive and negative charge on one ability. So now talk to me about this. Do you have to touch something to give it a charge, or do you have to motion?
I think it's more motion.
Okay.
It's like a range thing. It's like channeling the field sort of.
Okay. So both of
Yeah,
you then-
exactly. It's the motion of the ocean here.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
You guys can see the sample quirk just diagram there, right? Okay, if you want to start copying something similar to that down, whatever your quirk's name is, it's an emitter and it's active. And then the roll, I'm assuming for you, we're going to want it to be a skill roll. And for you, we're going to make it as a knowledge roll. We'll discuss saving throws, but the effect being what, so if you give something a charge and you give something else a charge, if they're opposites, they attract to each other. How strong? I mean, this is like a rare type quirk, so it shouldn't be like 30 feet around. But it could be pretty, maybe like 15. I'm saying feet, but I should be talking about spaces in the board.
Yeah.
You get it. Each space.
Well,
is
and like
2 meters.
we're green, so we don't have a ton of it's like we've used this to make our lives a little bit easier or more interesting, but not for like anything drastic.
No.
Okay, so you can magnetize things and they move towards each other at a rate of like 3 spaces per round. That seems relatively friendly. Maybe 2 spaces. Yeah. If you had unusual quirks, like a lower quirk reading, it'd probably be like one space, kind of like Deck and some other telekinesis.
It's got it going.
I think we'll be fair and say both objects move towards each other at a rate of 2 spaces per round. Does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah.
That's-
What's basic move speed? Like 5 spaces?
Basic
less?
move speed is 6 spaces.
6 spaces.
Like Pathfinder, like normally they're just 2 meter squares now instead of 5 feet. So it's a little more than 5 feet that you're used to. And you have 6 spaces. Very little in this game is actually measured in meters. It's all written out in just spaces so that it's easier for
So when you play on the grid, you just 1-to-1.
Yeah, unfortunately, like 4th edition, I did assume a grid setup here. I think it's the better way to do it with games like this, but I understand the value of
Hexagons.
not just hexagons. Fuck. No, theater of the mind. So there's also stuff right now like this is what a space. Okay, that's not for us. Okay. Is there a clear weakness you've thought of for your quirks?
Over-magnetism makes you dumb like Kaminari.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was thinking like
Get too many brain
too
waves.
much friction, basically. Like, you know, like especially if we're like using similar polarities for some reason.
If you stack up
Yeah.
too many polarities on too many things, it's just gonna like yeet you across the field.
Yeah.
You just get rebounded.
What
by
if you
your
just
own
became
quirk.
super slow? No. That makes sense. I can see lots of things. You know, you get nauseous, you get stupid, you get slow, you get stunned even.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways we could think of a weakness. So you said too much friction.
That was just one thought, but that doesn't have to be like.
Okay.
What
Anything
did
from
you
you,
have
Odie? Any
anything?
thoughts?
No.
Head empty, I
Head
know.
empty.
This one.
I'm thinking about those other things at
Yeah,
the same
okay.
time, so mind process working on other
Okay.
things.
Do you imagine when you mind apply an effect to someone, or when you fucking focus on them with a ranged skill attack, do you imagine there'd be a saving throw to negate the effect? Because if there's a saving throw involved to like negate it, or even to reduce it, that will change how severe a weakness I'm wanting.
I mean, there should be,
We're trying to maintain
right?
a
Like we're
balance
not.
somewhere.
So if there's not a saving throw,
I'll give you a stronger weakness.
then it would just be like that we would have to roll to hit.
Yeah.
But if there is a saving throw, we don't have to roll to hit. They just have to make.
If there's a saving throw, you have to roll the hit
There's
and they get a
lightning bolt
save.
and fireball,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Lightning bolt, roll the hit.
Yeah.
Fireball,
Gotcha.
reflex it.
I don't
Yeah.
think you roll to cast those spells, but
You roll a touch attack on lightning bolt, but you roll reflex saves on fireball.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
One's an attack roll, one's a reflex save. They do the exact same damage.
Okay.
But fireball kills your friends.
I'm so sorry, Ty. I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
No, it wasn't me. It was someone else.
Trey.
Trey in the fucking ice room.
Yeah.
My
The
God.
wandering dungeon.
You know the
And
ice
he's
room. in the
still
Wandering
there.
Dungeon.
Yeah.
Is he?
He's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You told me. Fuck. He's see the ice.
His little ice skating ghost.
Ty.
I just cast fireball in the middle of the
Oh,
room.
we should have Grant talk
You mean
to
where I
him.
am?
Like centered on you, yes.
Is that your kid who speaks to dead people?
Yeah, that's our kid that speaks to dead people. Grant could talk to
Just
him.
bring Ty on for a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna call Ty real quick. Yeah.
Oh, no,
So
friend.
if you want enemies to be able to resist once you've applied, it'll mean a weaker weakness for you, a less debilitating weakness.
But the
But-
potential for greater effect, not
Not
necessarily.
really. The effect's gonna be the full effect's gonna be the same. At like 2 spaces for now. This is just a thing of game balance. Is do you want enemies to have an easier time escaping you, or do you want to have a heavier penalty on yourself, but your power is more controlling?
More
and
absolute.
More absolute. Absolute unlimited power.
Freezing.
If you want to answer these questions later, I can come back to you guys and you can think of a weakness that feels right to you, and we can workshop it. Because I can jump to these guys.
Got an ability ready, if so.
Okay.
Better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep deliberating, twins.
I got my summon goblins, baby.
Summon goblins. Okay.
I scream. It's going to be an active. ability, of course.
Active, of course.
The roll's going to be an attack roll, right? Because it's the goblins that make the attack roll. They're going to run up and just start beating the tar out of people. My effect is that I summon goblins. How many? I don't know, but they're going to be slow, low hit point, and I figure I'm going to have like a pool of how many actives I can have at a time.
I think you're having a number of I think that it's going to be a matter of how much shouting are you doing per day, and it's going to start hurting your throat.
Okay, all right.
Which I think makes sense.
Yeah, I got a pool of screams.
Pool of scream like Monsters Inc. Randall.
You just need to harness the power
Liquid
of scream.
screams are more
Yeah.
condensed.
Yeah, so this guy's training is just vocal exercises, which I appreciate fully. I do.
And a bunch of lifting.
Okay, so you're wanting to summon entities that are
Yeah.
independent creatures on the board that you control.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I think a body or a heart roll would make a lot of sense for that. You could, if you want, you could justify as a skill roll, as like this is my vocal skill with my vocal folds.
Let's go for body.
Body.
It's what I'm building my character around. Yeah. It makes sense that my bread and butter ability would be based on my bread and butter attribute.
Okay, so then I will say, funny enough, there's a little chart closer to the end of this document about ability check like DCs, right? And it's scaled starting at 6, and every 3 that it goes up, it's another DC. So what if we said minimum, like if you roll a 6 or higher, you get 1 guy. Then for every 3, you get to summon another guy. Would that make sense to you?
Sure. Yeah. So DC
So you have a 4 in
6
body.
plus
I
3.
just rolled a fucking 12 on the dice.
per guy.
So if you rolled 16 dudes, you'd be able to summon 4 guys.
That'd be 4. That'd be 4 of my little boyos.
You don't hate that.
Yeah. Easy enough.
And then
And with my body at 4, I can't not summon a guy with a DC of 6.
yeah, so that means when
So,
you
yeah.
use your quirk, you're guaranteed a guy.
I'm guaranteed a guy. Perfect.
It's the guy.
If you wanted to take like passion vocalist later, I'd let
That's
you.
100% what I'm going into.
Yeah, I'd let you.
I'm going to be in a metal band.
put.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's incredible! He's the orcish frontman for a Japanese metal band.
Yeah.
Twisted Wizard, is that
Twisted
you?
Wizard? They don't know about Twisted Wizard. This is my ideal character. That are Scaramouche from Samurai Jack. Okay, so then.
So good.
Sorry, I'm just going back to where quirks are. I'm scrolling. We then. Three.
Don't laugh, you're supposed to say bless you.
Glad it was quiet.
Odie's sneezes are always quiet.
I know.
They're always dramatic, but always the quietest.
Yeah, I want this to be my my pawn, my mook level summon.
Okay, I'd just say like
Stop.
a hit point, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah, just a hit point. They're minions.
Yep.
They probably only deal like a light attack worth of damage, so they deal 1d6 damage. They have like no bonus to hit, but because there's so many of them, they can flank with each other.
Yeah.
They can get lots of bonus, whatever that shit is. Does that feel right? That makes sense?
That feels fine. I
And,
assume
it's
that
kind of-
feels balanced.
It's the kind of thing that could change if we played and realized it's not working.
Right.
Of course, all this is. That's just the nature of the game. Obviously, saving throws a mix because you're not affecting another creature. We've described the effect. Weakness. I'm assuming then you might want to just start like taking hit damage when you overuse your quirk. Maybe.
Scream goes to hit point damage. I'm cool with
Like
that.
you build stacks of scream, and once you hit a certain number of those stacks, then you just start off. Kind of like that flame breath guy in the example.
Yeah, exactly like that.
So then I'd say, do we want to then set stacks of scream based on creature summoned, or just times the quirk is used?
I would just say times the quirk is used.
Okay.
Because if I scream once and I get 4 dudes,
then you're fine.
yeah, then I just screamed once.
Okay. So then per quirk use, build 1 stack of scream.
1 scream.
When it equals your body, you're going to start taking penalties, and then every time you use your quirk after that. Let's just do exactly like Flame Breath Guy. I think that's pretty balanced and fair over there. You're going to take damage equal to half your current stacks of scream. Makes
Okay.
sense. So my first 4 uses, I'm good. My 5th use, I'm going to take like 2.
Take 2 damage. Then you take 3
6 use,
damage.
3 damage.
Then
so on.
3 damage. Then 4 damage. Then 4. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Easy peasy.
You get it.
I've got my second ability ready.
Fuck yeah, what's that?
If you want, it is Frenzy.
Oh,
I
no.
scream, and my active summons get a bonus on like move speed and attacks.
So this would use up a scream
Yeah.
stack, and instead of making new guys, you boost the current ones.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, shit, that works for me. So in terms of the effect, then, would we want another roll for that? And the roll might determine how effective it is.
I would probably just go with a flat bonus.
Just a flat bonus, no roll.
As far, yeah.
just spend an
I just
action.
spin to scream, and my boys go crazy.
Okay. No roll.
My boys wog. They wog
then
out.
If we spend a scream of that,
Make it based on body or something.
Mhm.
with their
Let's
bonuses.
just give them a half your body as a bonus to attack and damage. Oh, unless you want to maybe make them durable. Would you want to make them durable instead with this frenzy?
No, this is an aggressive move.
Okay, so
You're giving your friends rage.
The next one is bolster, which
All
would
your-
then be the hit point 1.
all
right?
all your guys get +2 attack and damage.
Primo.
Fucking primo. Later on, we can give them speed, health,
Yep.
fucking whatever.
And I can unlock new dudes.
Because we're assuming they have no bonus to attack before this, right? That
It's just
means
straight
their
2d6,
skill would
so
be
then it would
0,
be. Yeah.
right? So then I'm going to assume their armor class is just 7 flat.
Okay.
And their move speed, they're goblins. Small creatures have a move speed. Oh, there is no speed penalty for being small necessarily. So, yeah, let's just give them the average 6 squares of movement, 7 defense, 1 hit point.
Cool.
And they're all pretty simple little guys. They have no other stats. We're not worried about it. Maybe later we'll develop goblin sappers who can damage
That's
fortifications and shit.
100%. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I love this.
The Doom Diver catapult sits in the back and just launches goblins, and they just explode.
The power of war. Ian thought of this idea years ago, and I've wanted this forever.
Almost beat out Zhao for the main My Hero game.
I love Zhao, but I'm also like, man, if only 1,000 goblins screaming over the hills. You know? All right, Ty, you got anything? You want me to bounce back to the twins?
I think I do. I have curved shot. I want to curve my beams.
Let's work on your base ability with how the beams themselves work.
Okay.
So
yeah.
you took a rare quirk, and you're going to deal damage with these
Yeah.
hits, right? So I'm going to give you the option then. I have kind of an internal math that hasn't been put in the document yet, but for rare quirk types, basically you choose, do you want 2d6 damage, or do you want like d6 plus your skill in damage? For you, because you min-maxed, it's obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do, when you summon this shit, d6 plus 5 damage. It's a light weapon right now, but you can improve it to a medium or heavy weapon later. It's an active ability, it's an emitter, those are pretty obvious.
Yeah. Ooh, the blade beam.
Okay.
You know, Angelina Jolie up in here and curve.
It's based on whatever item you're currently holding.
I'm telling you, you gotta wield sticky hands.
So then, does that
Just
mean
laser sticky.
this weapon does radiant damage, or because it's light energy, right? Or does it deal damage based on the item you're holding?
Force damage.
It could, because it could just deal bludgeoning if it's a chair, or fucking piercing if it's a pencil.
I
See.
figured it was just force.
It's just untyped.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna let you say force because
Okay.
that kind of is a special place in the system.
Let's just say radiant.
yeah, I'll say
Yeah,
radiant because it's
radiant.
light energy.
It's a light, whatever.
It could be psychic for all I care. I don't fucking
It
care.
matters nothing to you right
Oh,
now.
yeah, do you guys deal psychic damage, or they deal?
It's very physical.
Okay. Your brain manifests as physical damage.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's
Says a lot.
It's just a coin toss whether or not they've got like little shivs or like stick clubs.
It's just
Either way.
spectral manifestations of rage.
Yeah.
Sometimes two
Okay. So they're just physicals.
They're just physical damage.
And this is
Yeah,
energy
absolutely
for
physical
you.
damage.
Okay. D6 plus 5 then, right? Because that's your 5s. That's disgusting. We need to determine a range of projection. We didn't determine a range for your guys' effect, did we?
No, but you'll get to us.
We're going to be really simple and put your range at 1 square per skill. So you have 5 squares of range that you can project this effect, which is pretty close to Tokuyami's Dark Shadow, by the way. Right now, anyway. And a weakness. What kind of weakness would you want for your basic, this is how my quirk works?
Probably just like a pool of energy, right?
Oh, yeah, you just want a pool of daily
Yeah.
radiant energy. Sure. And that leaves the door open for an ability to replenish that energy later. Sure. You know, I soak up literal sunlight. I don't fucking Maury. Okay, so then let's just set your pool of number of times you can summon this shit. That's pretty simple. Let's just set it for now to, I believe, your heart plus your skill. That means you can use your shit, what, 7 times
Yep.
a day? You get 7 uses of a good weapon, and then you're out.
Yeah.
That's possibly a little less versatile than what these other guys can do, but it's stronger and per instance.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair. I think then you're going to want to develop a way quickly to replenish it, or you're going to start struggling. And do the projections only last 1 round?
Yeah, just
Wait.
throw them out. When they hit, they gone. Or if they, don't hit anything, after 6 seconds, they just vanish.
Just buy
Okay.
the round.
Yeah.
That's fair. So you have 7 rounds of a good weapon. Not bad. You're building a barroom style. What's it called? Improvised weapon
Improvised weapon brawler.
fighter. That's
Yeah.
mean. That's mean. I love it. You guys, we're gonna come back to you guys after the break because it's about time. We're gonna take 5 at most, like 10 minutes. And when we get back, we're gonna keep up with this character creation, get to the end of this thing, and maybe we'll have some time left over for a little role playing, a little world talk, a little character talk, or God forbid, a little combat. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll be right back.